Coming up on Mountain News this morning, federal funding for schools from the pandemic era will soon be expiring. And Governor Beshear announced one of the Commonwealth's largest housing projects ever in Western Kentucky.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. We are coming up on 5 a.m. on Tuesday, June 4th. Now let's go on ahead and check in with meteorologist Mace Michaels for a look at your forecast this morning.
Hi there, Olivia. Good morning. We're starting off with patchy fog in a few areas once again, but it is dry and the temperatures are very comfortable. We're looking at 63 degrees right now here in Whitesburg, a little hazy or foggy off in the distance, but it's not a real locally dense fog by any means. Same thing here in Hazard. Actually, the visibility better than we've seen on and off over the past couple of weeks where we've had fog in the mornings. You can see a little bit of fog off in the background and some low clouds up and over the city, but most of the region, it's not as bad, at least visibility-wise this morning. Notice most visibilities are up over a mile, other than Jacksboro here with near zero visibility, locally dense fog there. Everywhere else, though, sitting just a smidge better. Here's the rest of our area temperatures with readings right now in the low and mid-60s and as warm as 67 in Jackson. Skies partly cloudy. Had a couple of showers roll across the area yesterday. We may have a few more today. A better chance of rain, though, upcoming throughout the week, especially tomorrow. High temperatures today on up into the mid-80s. Full forecast in a few minutes. We'll talk about a little cool down and those rain chances.
All right, Mace, thank you. The budget for the next school year begins on July 1st. For schools that still have emergency relief funds left from the pandemic, they are running out of time to spend it. WYMT's Jack Demler spoke to a few superintendents in the region about the impact that could have ahead of the next school year.
Everything has a time limit, including federal funding.
We knew the funding was going away.
After receiving millions of dollars as a way to limit the impact of the pandemic through elementary and secondary school emergency relief, also known as ESSER funds, schools are running out of time to spend what they have left.
It's my understanding you're not going to be able to recover that.
Losing a key source of funding could create a feeling of uncertainty as it relates to finances.
I think there's a lot of anxiousness. I'll say that. I think folks are anxious to see how we move back to our budgeting cycles and how we live within the funds that we have that are not subsidized with ESSER funding.
For school districts like Perry Central, that could impact staff members.
Some instructional coaches, we were paying additional staffing using ESSER funds, and we had 7 instructional coaches in our district previously, but now this year that we'll only have 3.
While other school districts could see a limit on academic resources.
There'll have to be some tougher discussions and decisions made about how you allocate and spend funds.
With ESSER funds being due at the end of September, Morton says the focus is addressing the learning needs of the students without the extra funding.
But at the end of the day, it really boils down to what's happening in that classroom with the teacher and the student. And so the focus is now elevated on making sure that you have good quality teachers in front of your students.
Preparing to support the kids with less. Jack Demler, WYMT Mountain News.
Morton says schools will have to be more creative on how to meet the needs on their students. Kent Campbell with Perry County Schools says despite losing the funds, they have a plan in place to prevent the loss from impacting the district. State education leaders want to improve literacy rates across the Commonwealth. The Summer Boost Reading and Mathematics program is just one of the ways the Bluegrass State hopes to engage children, encouraging them to read at least 20 minutes per day.
Children can lose up to 3 months of their learning over the summertime, and Dr. Begley talked about the summer slide and what might happen if we don't continue to practice what we learned during the school year.
Officials say lawmakers spent years researching and crafting legislation to help improve literacy rates in the Commonwealth. In 2022, legislators passed the Read to Succeed Act. Last year, they passed Senate Bill 156, which established a reading research center that the University of Louisville has agreed to house for 5 years. Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is expanding its reach in Kentucky. The program is now offering free books to children from birth to age 5 in every zip code. The program assures that all children, regardless of their family's income, have access to high-quality books. Yesterday, Governor Andy Beshear revealed what he says is the single largest housing announcement in the history of Kentucky. $223 million to build more than 900 affordable rental units across 4 western Kentucky counties that were hit by the historic 2021 tornado outbreak. The governor is saying the money will help people where FEMA did not.
You've heard me say it 1,000 times, but we will be there until this job is done. We will continue to find ways to help people rebuild. But there is always a piece that FEMA did not cover and would not cover that concerned all of us, and those were rentals.
The state pooled financial resources from seven different funds to create the more than $223 million to build 953 affordable rental units throughout the Graves, Christian, Warren, and Hopkins counties. Before you head out for summer vacation, did you know that you can compare policies from the 10 large domestic airlines on the U.S. Department of Transportation's website? Experts say this information can be crucial if you find yourself with missing luggage, a delayed or even canceled flight. New rules are expected to be implemented this fall, including setting specific guidelines for when airlines have to provide refunds.
That's all going to change for fall travel. We're going to see the rule go into effect where we will see consistency across airlines. Till then, I've been telling people, make sure that you download your airline's app, look for what they offer should your flight become delayed, because we are still seeing a lot of delayed and canceled flights. And so that's important that you know before you go what you're getting into, what you might be offered.
To learn more about your rights and how they'll change come this fall, head to this story in the WYMT News app. During the summertime, churches across the nation host Vacation Bible School. New Salem Baptist Church in Laurel County goes above and beyond for VBS each year. From 6 p.m. until 8:30 p.m., church officials are taking it underwater for children in grades preschool through middle school. VBS coordinator Missy Vyers says they want to teach the Word of God to kids in a fun way.
It's the time of year that we focus solely on every child in the community, and it's most important that we as a church reach our children. They are our future generation, and we have to tell them about Jesus. We are a mission-minded church, and that is our goal.
With decorations throughout the church, including balloons, a blue hallway, and more, students have quite the week ahead of them. And thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Just ahead, this could be one of the busiest Atlantic storm seasons in history, but one group is preparing to hunt the hurricanes.
Patchy fog around the area this morning. Maybe an isolated storm for later this afternoon. Temps well up into the 80s. Travel forecast looks okay today. Could have a little more rain, though, tomorrow to slow things down. We'll look at that coming.